Are you secretly holding your own children back, even as you exhaust yourself desperately pushing them to succeed? It's the modern parenting trap. We pour immense time, capital, and anxiety into forcing our kids up the ladder of success, while often treating our own personal and financial development as a finished project. And then comes the inevitable wall. Despite having access to every external resource we can buy, the child plateaus, leaving us staring at them in total frustration. Our reflex is to double down on the symptoms. We hire expensive tutors, pack their schedules with elite sports, and tighten the discipline. But we are essentially trying to fix the engine when the car is out of road. This dynamic is known as the generational ceiling effect. The environment a parent provides creates a structural limit on the child's upward mobility, regardless of individual effort. The greatest barrier to your child's vertical climb is rarely a lack of effort on their part. It is the fixed, static altitude you've settled into. To see how this dynamic functions, we can look at illustration 30 from the Wealth and Joy series. Look at the shocked character in the foreground. Behind him, a sketch maps family progress. The lower dotted line from the parents' heads is their peak status. The baby crawls on a higher line. A child's progress builds atop the foundation their parents secured. In this model, the ceiling of the previous generation becomes the starting floor of the next. The illustration doesn't leave this up to interpretation. It presents a direct challenge to the traditional mindset. This heavily highlighted text at the bottom translates to a specific mandate. Parents must grow before their children. This is the developmental prerequisite. Demanding massive dynamic growth from a developing child, while the adult supplying their resources remains entirely static, creates a sociological contradiction. We spend years exhausting ourselves trying to shove the child upward, but the logic of this diagram requires us to grab the baseline itself and pull it up. When parents stagnate, they aren't just leaving their kids to figure things out alone. They are active participants in limiting their child's potential by anchoring the starting line in place. And that brings us to the lasting consequence of this generational dynamic. The diagram emphasizes this final word, circled in yellow, which translates to starting point. Every ounce of a parent's unfulfilled growth becomes a foundational deficit, a gap the child must burn their early life energy trying to bridge. Consider this a base elevation metric. When a parent acquires new financial literacy or emotional regulation, they remove hurdles before the child even encounters them. A stagnant parent creates a flat line. The child begins at a low Y coordinate, requiring immense energy just to reach the median baseline. But when the parent commits to continuous growth, the child's starting coordinate automatically elevates. Their energy is now spent entirely on upward momentum. A parent's most impactful contribution is the elevation of the ground floor they provide for their child. We need to rethink the equation. Generational success is an internal pursuit that yields external dividends for the next person in line. Stop outsourcing the burden of generational growth to your children. Instead, start aggressively elevating your own personal, emotional, and financial metrics today. By relentlessly raising your own ceiling, you provide your child with a higher vantage point for their own journey.